Your grass is getting a little long there, Jimmy.
I know, but I just don't want to do it.
Do you need to do yard work, but you're just too lazy, bro? Call up your good friend Punk Shoe, he does much more than mow. He knows his way around some tools, including how to hoe. Pun intended, in one day he will spray, and no more weeds will ever grow. Punk Shoe's lawn care. He's weed whacking in underwear. Your wife, she might have an affair while he's operating his hardware. Punk Shoe's Lawn Service, available until the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and then you can cut your own damn grass.
Welcome to Interviews with Minus. Wait, do you really want me to say this?
Yeah, just say the line.
The greatest talk show in Terminus.
What is going on, everybody? Minus here in our first ever, possibly the last ever, Interviews with Minus live. So let's begin by saying, why are we here? Well, we're here because I screwed up scheduling our next interview, which I pre-record typically. I could have gone to a separate interview person. I could have pushed it back a little bit, but I figured that the best idea would have been just throwing us right into the fire and causing a massive train wreck. So here we are. So welcome to Interviews with Minus Live. What is the point of this? Well, we're going to cover some news and notes. I'm going to start asking questions from the chat. And for anyone who's seen our show before, we typically stop questions in the middle and we throw out this or that. So for anyone who's seen that, anyone in the chat who actually does give me a this or that, I'm going to try to answer them the best of my ability. Keep in mind there's a slight delay here of about 15 seconds or so. So yeah, we're going to deal with that. So the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and jump right in to some pretty important news in the community. So first and foremost, if you didn't know, Voices of Terminus have actually taken a slight break. These guys have been doing it for 3 years, so taking about a month and a half to 2 months off is a really good deal for them. They'll be able to relax a little bit, get their batteries recharged, and I believe that it is in Lexer's contract for him to get some time off. So really good job. Congratulations, guys. I really do appreciate all the hard work you do, as does the community. We've also gotten news that in a stream for Co-Carnage, that we will be seeing a live stream coming soon of Pantheon. The quote for it was about 2 weeks. We're all pretty excited about that. There's been a lot of coverage. We've seen tweets out from Basgrim and multiple people within the community. We've seen Reddit posts. So really big news for the community. We're all pretty excited to see what's coming with that. In other news, we'd like to retract the original story that we gave. Voices of Terminus will in fact not be taking a vacation due to the release of Co-Carnage's stream in the next few weeks. Sorry, Lex, you're going to have to really work on your contract. They really take advantage of you there. In other news and notes, if you didn't know, BoomTap plays about every single game. If you don't know who BoomTap is, he's from Standing in Fire. He buys and plays every game for about, 4 or 5 days, and it's the greatest game he's ever played. So what we're going to try to do here on our show is cover the fact that what he thinks is the greatest game currently. Right now, it's Assassin's Creed. Unfortunately, this was prior to launching, and I think it's actually already changed. So we'll try to keep up with that the best we can. And whoa. We are not that kind of show. We need hits, and I get it. But guys, let's go ahead and skip past that one. We actually want to retain everybody. So for those that don't know, by the way, we have a Canadian on our team in Haya. I'm sure you've heard about it before. So because Haya isn't here tonight with us, or maybe he is, we're actually going to cover a segment every show where we talk about Meanwhile in Canada. So what I've heard so far in Canada, it's really damn cold still. There you go. Now the other fun part is, since I'm in Florida, we figured we'd really try to make sure we cover the news here in Florida the best that we can every week as well. If we're going to talk about Canada, we got to talk about great old Florida. So this week's story is Florida man charged with picking magic mushrooms while carrying an alligator. I'm not a big crafter in Pantheon, but if we could carry an alligator around with us while we're picking magic mushrooms, I might actually play a ranger. Not too bad. In other news, we did a survey recently and found out that pretty much every single teenager in high school at this moment is buying a Motley Crue shirt from Hot Topic. It turns out it's their biggest selling item now, and it seems like they've all thrown out their Led Zeppelin shirts, which they claimed to have been big fans of previously. The other news, however, in interviewing these students are that there's a lot of returns going back to Hot Topic. They're all really upset because they found out that Machine Gun Kelly is not actually in the band. I think it's the same people that think Disturbed wrote The Sounds of Silence. I don't know. And in our final news piece here, I think we've actually found out when Pantheon is coming. Official word is that the alpha, at least, will be relaunched, I think the direct word was soonish. So when we were discussing this term soonish, we actually had the opportunity to get a direct quote from Brad McQuaid, who used the word soonish, to give us the dictionary. And he puts, it's when you want to do something soon, but you're not sure if it'll get done. You'll do it sometime in the near future, hopefully, but maybe not soon. You heard it here first, guys. This is groundbreaking information. We are actually live, the first ones to know that Alpha will be out soonish. Basgrim, if you're out there, tweet it out. Okay, so we like having fun here. We like doing some pretty crazy stuff. So some of the stuff I want to talk about real quick is get a tiny bit serious before we jump into some other things. If you haven't seen interviews with Minus, you're probably like, why do I care that this guy is pretending to sit at a desk with this really sweet ass suit jacket on and this amazing tie? Really, I mean, what more do you need? But see, why we do this is because Pantheon Plus, while it is a website, while we do video content, what's important to us currently is that we are driving community matters. The entire point of everything is community matters, and nothing is more fun, in my opinion, than sitting around with a friend, having a drink, and talking about experiences that you very much so enjoy. That's why we do interviews with Minus. If you haven't seen, we've had Basgrim on. We've had Tess from Standing in Fire. We've had Nathan Napalm. We've had Surfer Dave. A lot of different people, and we've talked about what they love in MMORPGs, where they've gotten in trouble in MMORPGs, some of the most emotional moments in MMORPGs, and why they're so excited about Pantheon. So we think that while you may not know the people on this show, or you may look at it ahead of time and say, why would I watch this? It's really cool to talk with the community and sort of understand why, even though we're all so different and want so many different things from MMOs, that we can share these moments and stories. The coolest thing about it is that you can relate to almost anybody who's played an MMO. If you hear their favorite stories, you'll say, I remember that. And that's what this show is all about. Now, as far as doing it live tonight, this was because we made a mistake. But the more and more we thought about it, we thought that this would be a really awesome way to do our future interviews. And we have a lot of really cool guests lined up, and we also want to be able to talk with fans. Okay, so the cool thing about that is now we'll be able to actually field questions with people who are in the chat and actually answer questions and talk about their stories as well, which is really cool. So in the future, it's very likely, as long as this doesn't burn up and go crashing down here, that we may do the interview shows live. And again, anyone in the chat, whether you're a fan of Pantheon, a content creator of Pantheon, or if we can trick a dev into here, we want to do the interviews. We want to learn a little bit about the people in our community and drive that as we get closer to Pantheon. Okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into what we would normally do here with questions. So the big thing here with our questions are we would ask people, first of all, why do you like MMORPGs? Honestly, if I sat here and was pretending to tell you guys why I like MMORPGs at this point, if you've ever watched any of our shows, you know why I like MMORPGs. I'm not going to waste time with that. But since we've started the show, I've actually talked about, I've had quite a few examples of times I've gotten in trouble. So again, remember, if you ask questions in the chat down there, I'm doing my best to keep up with it. So I will try to answer your questions. And again, during interviews, we do 10 this or that questions with the guests. So if you have a this or that, no matter what it is, I'll try to answer it. So let's go ahead and get started with the second question we ask a lot of people on our show. And that is a time that you got in trouble in an MMO. I want to share two with you, and please light it up down there in the chat. Tell me how you got in trouble in an MMO. Tell me if you can relate to what happened to me. So I've actually got banned 2 times in EverQuest, and those 2 moments are probably some of the more embarrassing moments for me because I was really young. So the first time I got banned, it was actually kind of cool. I played a wizard, and we had a friend of mine who was a necro, and we were both invisible, and we went into Sky Shrine, and we were against the dragons, and we invised our way up because there was a guild in there that was killing the boss of the zone. And we invised into a corner, and we watched the entire Zoltar. Nice. We watched the entire fight. And if you didn't play EverQuest, what would happen is somebody would kill a mob, and then basically the loot leader would hold loot. They'd sit there, like they'd sit over the corpse and hold the loot, because anybody could loot a corpse once it was looted. And that looter would basically go like this, hold the corpse, announce what it was, and you'd see people rolling and deciding who was going to get it. That person would stand up from the mob, and someone would grab the loot, and if there was more, they'd protect it. Well, they couldn't see that we were in the room. We were hiding in the corner, and they were doing this big loot roll. So me and my friend got very close to the corpse, and it turns out that it dropped an amazing robe. So as soon as that looter stood up, I uninvised and instantly grabbed the robe and hit an evac, basically a portal, and we were out of there. It was so quick that literally they had no idea what happened. Now, a couple of them saw my name, so I'm just getting tells like crazy. Within a matter of like 3 minutes, we found someone in the East Common tunnels that would pay for it, and we just unloaded it. Like, here you go. We gave the robe off, and then all of a sudden, we actually had a GM contact us. And he summoned us to a room, and his first question is, where's the robe? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. We're in East Commons. I'm like, what robe? He's like, you guys were just in Sky Shrine, and you took a robe. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You can check our inventory. We don't have a robe. Meanwhile, we already had all this gold. So it ends up being this huge charade, and they end up finding the guy we sold it to. He comes back. We are forced to give him his money back. He is forced to give the robe back, and we are banned for a week. So that was pretty funny. Another interesting time was I was sitting on the dock in Oasis, and this was around the time where the Ixar ceremonial breastplate came out, right? So you have this breastplate come out, and I'm sitting on the dock, and I'm trying to heal. And this guy walks up to me, and he puts an Ixar ceremonial breastplate in my inventory. And I'm like, what is this? So he hits trade. I accept it. And I'm sitting there, and I look to my left, and I kid you not, I couldn't make this story up. There is an identical dark elf sitting, at the dock right beside me. He thought I was his friend, and he was showing me an item. I realized what happened, and I just logged off. I logged off instantaneously. I was like, you know what? I'm done. So I waited a couple days. I logged back on, and when I logged back on, I was in the GM room. And eventually a GM came in, and it was this huge ordeal. And he summoned the guy in, and we were talking like, are you going to give it back? And I really fought my case that I didn't do anything wrong. I just accepted a trade. Why do I have to give it back? Long story short, because I wouldn't just give it back and resolve the situation, that was another week ban there. So a couple times at EQ that I got in trouble in. So I'm curious to know if you guys ever got in trouble. Let me know. So a couple questions I'm going to go over here. Can I order one of those coffee mugs? No, it's one of a kind. I own it, and when I want to sell it, it'll be worth millions. Another one here. Summoner, great class or greatest class? Are you asking for your girlfriend? Let's see what else we have here. Why is the paladin your favorite? And why is that said paladin, your favorite? Well, that's tough. Actually, paladins are pretty awesome. So I actually don't have a problem with paladins. And I was going to be a paladin, but everyone I know is playing a paladin. You're playing a paladin. Nathan's playing a paladin. I can name probably about 10 more people who are playing a paladin. So because everybody's playing a paladin, I am not playing a paladin. I was going to play a warrior. Now I'm playing a rogue. I think I'm going to stick to the rogue, but I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm usually pretty good at picking a class and sticking with it. Yeah, okay. Thanks, now you show up. Yeah, okay, so I'm not really good at picking a class and staying with it. Leading up to an expansion, I probably changed my class about 15 times. So Right now I'm a rogue. The classes I like are rogue, warrior, bard, cleric. And those are probably the top 4 that I would have to decide between for now until new details are released. And all of a sudden I love summoners, and all the summoners out there start to make fun of me. Auction house in Pantheon, in cities, or like EQ in the tunnel or GFA? That is a really good question. I learned how to type in the East Commons tunnel. I legitimately can type really fast, because if you wanted something in the East Common tunnels, you were just watching trade chat and you were like, type real fast to try to get it. I really like that. I think that would be a pain in the butt for people that are crafters. I don't craft much, so it wouldn't bother me. I would like to see, I don't know. I'm actually going to say I don't know. I'm sure it's something we'll talk about in the future, but I'm not 100% sure what I would personally want in an auction house. I'd probably honestly say auction house, so that I didn't have to spend as much time trying to find what I was looking for. If that makes sense. So let's see here. No other questions. Oh, here we go. So Chris Kane says, worst moment in MMOs, does cybering with a troll count? Yes. Yeah, it counts, Chris. That's probably a worst moment. I hope you were on top. Okay, so the next question here that we're going to jump into is, what's your most emotional MMORPG moment? You guys are going to laugh at me. Remember, I was young when I was playing EverQuest. It's really not an excuse. But back in the day in EverQuest, I was absolutely obsessed. When I say obsessed, I was obsessed with J-Boots. I had J-Boots on every single character that I made, and I spent whatever amount of time it took to get those J-Boots. And I had J-Boots on a bard, okay? But when I started my quest to get J-Boots, I was in the famous South Row, and you could stay in the sand and just kill enemies, and you hope that an ancient Cyclops would eventually show up. So here's me all day. It's a complete random experience. All day I'm killing stuff. And I see him pop in the corner of the zone, and there's nobody around, right? Because you have to worry about kill stealing. So I'm sitting there, and I start getting real nervous. Like, my heart is freaking racing. I'm probably, I don't know, 15, maybe 16. My heart's racing, right? Like, EverQuest was the world to me. I played it like crazy. I was a super nerd. So my heart's racing, and I'm fighting, and I'm a wizard, and I'm kiting him in the corner. And I'm kiting him, and I'm doing pretty well. And I'm like literally my hands are shaking. And I go to take him down. I see him fall like this. And I start walking to loot him, and I get disconnected. And I'm just in a panic, right? So I'm in an absolute panic. I'm like, maybe nobody saw it. I got to get back in. I'm trying to reconnect. I'm going crazy. And literally, I can't breathe. Like, I'm so into this moment. I get in, and as I get in, I see two people leaned over, or one person leaned over with another person beside him looting, and they got the ring. And I just sat there, like, I thought I was going to have a breakdown. Like, it was this rage-filled anger with a combination of deep sadness, frustration. So that was an extremely, almost embarrassing emotional moment for me. As I watched one of my very first attempts to get J-Boots just go away. That killed me. So I see a lot of people agree with Chris here. The tunnel brings more community. I definitely agree that some kind of hub brings more community. I'd also most like to see if they do an auction house style system, instead of having one auction house, if you could set your character in the area and open your own shop, and someone could click on you to see what you're selling, instead of going to just a broker and seeing everyone's stuff. You have to actually find the person. It would probably make it a little more difficult to find items, though, but I don't know. That was kind of cool. I forget what game did that. Was it Final Fantasy? One of the Final Fantasies did that? I don't even know. So let's see here. We have any more questions before we go in? Most moment RPGs. Yes, actually, Chris, it does answer both questions. You're ruining your ability to be on the show. We're going to have to come up with new questions for you. So, yes, that would also count. I hope he or she, because that's the time we're in, right? I hope he or she held you. I hope it was nice. I don't really have any more advice to give you. Hiya, you got anything for Chris? Anything at all? No. It's all you do. You just sit in the back and shake your head. I mean, I get that it's cold in Canada, but you don't gotta be cold to us. Okay. All right, everybody. So last couple things here before I wrap up the show. Again, I'd love to have more people on the show. Why are we so excited about Pantheon, right? It's community. It says it right there at the bottom. Community matters. It's why I quit WoW. It's why we spend hours on the website. It's why we spend tons of time making content, promoting out friends and getting everyone to check out Battle Axe, Chris, Basgrim, Nathan, Voices of Terminus, Standing in Fire. I mean, that's just the start. We want more. If you're a content creator, I don't care what you're creating. Come join us, have some fun. Everyone gets their own hits. Everyone has their own fun. It's just a matter for us to be a great community. If you haven't gone on to Pantheon.plus, please check it out. It's really cool. We spend a lot of time. And I promise you, it's only going to get better and better and better. And the last part of it, what I'd really recommend is if you haven't signed up, we're starting a community in there. Hand up, it's going slow. The community creation is a little slower than we had hoped, but we are going to start doing some different things in there where you guys can maybe win some different pledges, just things that we can do so we can further help Pantheon and donate in. So pretty good stuff there. Does anybody have any this or that's? I mean, we're on about a 15-second delay. I'll sit here and wait for a second. If you guys have any this or that's, please throw them in there and we'll try to get them. So this or that is like, do you like ice cream or waffles, even though that's a horrible one. This or that's what we like to do on this show. It kind of gets some deep conversation. It gets other people in the chat getting all crazy about it. So again, before we drop over here, give me some this or that's if you guys have any. If not, we'll close it up. Oh, here we go. Next voiceover for Chris Kane is going to be him reading chat logs of Cybers with a troll. As long as we have crying in the background, I think that'll work really well. A lot of crying, a lot of tears. No this or that's. Everyone's like, dude, this or that's aren't that cool. It's fun. Like, me and Nathan had a huge debate about mashed potatoes or baked potatoes. I mean, who in the world likes baked potatoes more than mashed potatoes? You learn a lot about somebody. Yes, and Solitude just said, too, that there will be pickles in the game. If you guys didn't see that, Solitude is always pushing pickles out. And she did with Brad and said that they need to be in the game. And Brad confirmed that pickles, there will be a vendor where you can buy pickles. We should do some kind of contest where the first person to send Solitude a pickle when the game comes out gets something. So you guys remind me about that when the game comes out soonish. Okay, so we don't have any of this or that. Whatever, guys. That's fine. It's the first show. You're not prepared. I understand. It's okay. So what I would say going forward is, honestly, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It's live because we messed up. It was a lot of fun to do live. So, yeah, definitely jump onto Pantheon Plus. Get into the community. Just chat. Follow people. Like comments. Put pictures in. It's a good time. It's 100% free. There's no advertising on the site. We're trying to build something fun. So I guess, do you guys want to see the advertisement one time? We'll end it up with the advertisement here and we'll close off the stream. So let's go ahead and go back to Punk Shoes lawn care advertisement. I think that's worth one more shot.
Your grass is getting a little long there, Jimmy.
I know, but I just don't want to do it.
Do you need to do yard work, but you're just too lazy, bro? Call up your good friend Punk Shoe, he does much more than mow. He knows his way around some tools, including how to hoe. Pun intended, in one day he will spray, and no more weeds will ever grow. Punk Shoe's lawn care. He's weed whacking in underwear. Your wife, she might have an affair while he's operating his hardware. Punk Shoes Lawn Service, available until the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and then you can cut your own damn